Hi, everyone. I wanted to pop into the group and talk to you about a really great quote that I came across in the Diamond group. So it's a quote from Tom Big Al Schreiter, who is like a big network marketing guy. And it goes like this. And I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a major truth bomb. So in every company, there are people at the top and people at the bottom, yet it's the same company and the same products for everyone. So maybe it's not the company that determines our success, maybe it's us. So, ouch, right? Like it gets super easy, I think, in this business. I get a lot from people saying like my business is slowing down, I need help. And a lot of times what I hear from people about why their business isn't growing is external factors. They say, oh, my downline's not doing the business that much. I don't really have people that are really like jumping in to do the business. I get the excuses of like, none of my friends are interested. They think the kit's too expensive. No one wants to get into essential oils, or everybody's already using essential oils. Some people will talk about the prices of all the Young Living stuff. It's too expensive. None of my friends can afford it. I've heard, oh, Young Living shipping is problematic. Like you can't rely on them and it takes too long, or the products are always out of stock. Here's the reality. We all have challenges. We've all had challenges, and we all will have challenges. The challenges will continue no matter what. That's just the nature of the business. It's easy to blame it on Young Living or your downline or your friends or whatever. But the reality is, if we want to grow our business, it's up to us to grow our business. And that quote about, we all have the same company and the same products is so true. Our team is super fortunate because we have tons of resources available for you that are free or really low cost through the Shoppery. And we're constantly doing our best to come up with new stuff for you guys so that you can have new innovative ways of sharing. Not all teams are like that, just FYI. If any of you have gone to any Young Living events or to convention and talked to other people that aren't on our team, you'll find people that have just been left out to dry and just said like, okay, you're building the business, great. Do whatever with whatever you can find, and the Young Living website provides some stuff, but it's not the greatest, right? And it's not the most helpful. Back when I was, really building and focusing on building, we were running into issues, so much stuff was always out of stock because the demand was so huge and they hadn't quite caught up. We had PSKs, premium starter kits, that were taking 3 weeks to ship, and we had to find the silver lining in that. We had times where the customer service phone lines and live chat wait times were 3, sometimes 4 hours to get through to someone, and then you'd get dropped, and then you'd have to get back online or call and start all over again because they just didn't have enough people for customer service. And somehow, those of us that started 4.5, 5 years ago, somehow we all still managed to continue building our business. So the key, I think, to building a business is knowing that you're always going to have to keep looking outside of the box for innovative ways to share and to look at what you've been doing and see what has been a success, and then take those things and tweak them a little bit, because we can't expect our warm or cold markets to be interested in the same thing over and over and over again. So if all you're posting are posts about how you're using oils or whatever, the people that aren't interested in oils are just going to scroll by and they're not going to care. And they're not going to pay attention. They're not going to read your posts. So I think one of the key things is that to build is to keep looking at your failures, what's not working. So if you're doing classes and no one's showing up, why? Why aren't they showing up? What are they interested in? What do they need? Learn from your mistakes and learn to do things differently, things that are out of your comfort zone. This is out of my comfort zone. I don't prefer doing live stuff. I don't prefer doing stuff in person, but I know that it's something that I need to push myself to do and that there will be value in doing them. So I pushed myself to do that. And even though I've been doing this for almost 5 years, I still get nervous before doing a Facebook Live. So let's go back to the idea of doing the same thing over and over again. It's easy to do that, right? I'm a red personality. Private messaging, texting is my jam. That's what I would prefer to do. But sometimes people need to see my face, and sometimes people need to, share my energy and be in the same space outside of my house. And so I have to go outside of my house and get dressed and put makeup on and go and meet people to help them and just to talk to them and to build that relationship. But if we keep doing the same thing that makes us feel safe, we're not going to be growing our business and we're not going to be growing those relationships. So take, for example, if I told my kids, you could eat candy every single day. Like, we typically don't have a lot of candy in our house. But if I told my kids, you can eat candy every day, they would, the first few days, they'd be like, yes! And they'd probably just eat massive amounts of candy. But if I said to them, and you have to eat candy every single day, after a while, they're going to be like, do I have to eat candy today? Just like if you were to serve your family their favorite meal, pizza, oh my gosh, pizza every day, it's awesome, you're the best mom ever. But after 3 days of pizza, they're probably going to be like, I'm not liking pizza anymore, right? So if we're feeding our warm and cold market the same kind of information over and over and over with minimal success, then why are we doing that? Why do you keep doing that? Because we're just going to be boring them. So we need to look at what our warm and cold markets need and tweak how we're sharing. So the majority of my warm market, my friends, my personal friends, are not doing oils, and they probably aren't interested in oils. So my focus has been to do more posts about educating people about toxins and chemicals and how to live a healthier lifestyle, because the majority of my friends are into trying to do organic, exercising more, healthier choices for family and friends. So look at what worked and what didn't. And instead of being like, oh, I'm a failure and, nobody showed up to my class, think about what did you offer? And was it something that people were interested in? Identify what your warm market needs, or at least the products that they're interested in, and then start sharing based on that. It's all about marketing, right? And so I was recently talking with another team member who was saying that, she wasn't getting much traction from her interested people. She had quite a few interested people, but they weren't, jumping on board. No one was really coming to classes. And we kind of dove further into the situation. What we found was that the majority of our friends weren't going to be interested in essential oils. It wasn't going to be the thing that grabbed them and interested them, but they were going to be interested in a less toxic life. And they had kids, and they were following her journey as she was eating healthier and that kind of thing. And so that's when we kind of identified, let's switch the focus. Instead of focusing on sharing about this essential oil helped this person, or my kid did this with this essential oil, she's now going to start educating about toxin-free products and start sharing about those kinds of things, and focus on how much money she's saving by using those products and being on essential rewards, and how she's going to be keeping her family healthier long term by not exposing them to a ton of toxic chemicals, right? So she could have kept sharing about oils. She could have kept trying to invite people to classes about oils and switching up the topic of, okay, feelings kit class or raindrop kit class or, DIY roller class. But that wasn't going to be the thing that was going to draw her people in. So now that she's identified what her audience is more likely to be interested in, she can target her focus to that instead. So if you're not growing, I want you to take that quote that I said earlier to heart and really think about, like, what are you doing to look outside of the box? What are you doing to innovate and be more creative? And what are you doing to identify what your warm and cold market needs are? Because that's where I think you're going to find more success than doing the same thing over and over that you're comfortable with. Because if we want to grow our business, we have to grow ourselves too. So it's more about nudging yourself a little at a time out of your comfort zone to start doing things a little bit differently so you can grow yourself and grow your business. So hope you guys found that helpful. I'm going to run through the messages and see if there's any questions, if you guys have a question. Otherwise, that is yes, we do have a ditch and switch class. It's titled Healthy Home. And then we have some ditch and switch graphics in the photo albums. So so if you guys have ideas for other types of classes, submit them to my husband, Scott Garner, and he can help get graphics made and put together a template. So if you guys have a desire to teach about other things that we don't have content for, submit it to him and we'll get that done so that you have some really great looking content to share. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Hopefully that truth bomb wasn't too harsh, but I think even sometimes when the truth bomb's harsh, it can help us open up to new ideas. And the key is, just take responsibility for your business. Don't rely on your upline. Don't rely on your downline. Focus on what you can do to build your business. Look for creative ways to think outside the box. Talk about ways that use the distillery group for sharing ideas of what worked and what didn't, so that, we can get the whole team kind of involved in thinking about different ways to share. So hopefully that's helpful. I'm going to sign off now, and I will put the transcript, my notes for this, in the comment section so any of our deaf members can get access to this information too. Okay, bye.